Let's start this off with one thing we can all agree on. Whatever problem you're facing with your business right now, healthy leads, sales, and cash flow will always solve it. And this one idea is what's going to help you take back control of your business so that you can stop drowning in it. Just like it did for Pia Silva, who was struggling to get ahead because she couldn't gain any momentum.
3 months into working with Josh, our monthly revenue grew 3x. So we went from 50K to 150K in just 3 months.
Tripling your sales in 3 months solves a lot of pesky problems. Now, I want to point out something you may already know, but it's important and you'll see it as a trend as this training continues. Most successful entrepreneurs pretty much do the same things over and over. And most unsuccessful entrepreneurs pretty much do the same things over and over. What you do matters. Choose wisely. Just like Michael Blanc, who I helped 10x his business by finding a system that works and repeating it.
When we first started, we were like selling $30,000 a month, and Josh working with us, we were at $300,000 about 3 years later. So about 10x in sales.
It all comes down to one idea. Frameworks are greater than tactics or strategies. Tactics are trendy, strategies are suspect, but frameworks are forever. So what is a framework exactly? Well, a framework is a set of guidelines that helps you accomplish a task. You'll find plenty of consultants who will sell you the big name strategies. You will find plenty of coaches who will pitch you on the latest tactics. But unless you have the right frameworks in place to support these strategies and tactics, everything crumbles when it's time to take action and actually get things done. Because action is the only way to create results. And action comes from keeping things simple. Now, as entrepreneurs, we're drawn to the extreme ends of what I call the action spectrum. Shiny stuff and new tech is sexy. I mean, who isn't excited about the latest AI bot that can call your leads, close them, service them, and also iron your shirts while serving you fresh squeezed orange juice? I mean, who doesn't want that? But how many of those fancy AI bots will still be working in 6 months' time? Or worse yet, how many of them actually even do what they say they're supposed to do right now? Let's talk about motivational speeches and mindset. That stuff's sexy too. I mean, I recently had a bunch of my friends. They flew to Hawaii to spend a week with Tony Robbins. They took their spouses. They walked through fire. They yelled and sang and pumped each other up, and it really looked cool. I'm not going to lie. I was a little jealous. But how many of them are actually going to be making more money because of this event 6 months from now? Maybe some, but most are going to be looking for their next fix. The hard truth here, shiny objects, mindset, motivation, they leave a huge gap in the middle. And that gap is where the work needs to be done. Now, this is where 90% of the potential of your business is. That's the part that's not even getting touched right now. It's not more shiny stuff, not more mindset and motivation. It's implementation. Implementation bridges the gap. And that's the entire focus of today's training, to provide simple, actionable frameworks anyone can follow so that you can bridge the gap and get the results you want. You don't need any new skills. You just need to implement. You see, I only work with entrepreneurs who are fed up with shiny object syndrome and ready to get real results right now, because they're the ones who know that taking action is the only way to get there. People like Eric Rogers, who recently told me he was able to take everything he learned, make the changes, and turn his business around in a couple days. By the way, he hadn't closed a single sale in a month, but we helped him get 2 in a row. Now, if you look behind the scenes of any successful business, they are not riding the backs of the latest trend, and they're not loyal to any big name strategy. Successful businesses just implement over and over and over again, period. That's the framework for winning in business. Find the things that work, do those things, repeat. So I've developed a simple framework for creating wins in your business fast. It's called the PRECISE method, and that's what you're going to learn today. So who is the PRECISE method for? Well, this is for you if you've hired a coach or consultant or bought a course or coaching program and you didn't get the results you were promised. Or if you are constantly putting out fires, you feel stuck, lost, burned out, you're ready to give up, you tried just about everything else and failed, and you may be struggling to stay afloat financially, for instance. This is also for you if you've heard how the CEO is supposed to be the so-called visionary, but you can't figure out why you're too busy to do that. This training's for you if you want to get back to doing what you love instead of becoming a sales and marketing whiz kid, reinventing the wheel every single day, or starting a second career as a content creator. If any of this is resonating, then this training is for you. And I want to be clear here, this works for any business at any stage of development in any financial state, so it doesn't matter what you sell, how long you've been in business, or how much revenue you generate. It's been proven to work in over 30 different industries, including home services, professional services, real estate investors and brokers, marketing agencies, travel agencies, health professionals, coaches, consultants, and course creators in almost every industry imaginable, and many more. I've even worked in some more complicated industries like crypto and cannabis. So regardless of where you're at right now, there's a 90% chance that what I'm about to share will work for you too. That said, this is not for everyone. There are a few people I just can't help. Number one, if you don't have an active business that has generated revenue, unfortunately, I just can't steer a parked car. Number two, if you're not motivated to make a change right now, if you're not hungry, I can't force you to eat. And number three, if you're a know-it-all or a jerk, look, if you got it all figured out, cool. I'm not going to try and change your mind, but I can't help you. For everyone else, let's begin. First, I need to share with you there are 4 reasons almost all entrepreneurs fail, or at least why they keep getting stuck. I call it the vicious entrepreneur cycle. Now, when everybody starts out, they don't know what to do. And really, that's the number one reason for failure. But it directly leads into the second reason, which is they end up doing the wrong things. And once you do the wrong things long enough, it causes you to overcomplicate everything. And once that doesn't work either, well, they just hustle themselves to death. This is a cycle we all repeat over and over and over again, and it's actually really hard to escape. How do I know this? Well, besides being an entrepreneur myself, of course, I've seen it all thousands of times. I've been working with small business owners for over 15 years as a consultant, both for big-time firms as well as independently. Now, during that time, I've collected gigabytes worth of data and insights on all of my clients, and one day I sat down to analyze it looking for trends. That led me down a bunch of rabbit holes to study things like behavioral science, hormonal imbalances, ego, tribal economics, just some legit weird stuff. Anything that would help me understand better. And I peppered in some business strategy too. Now, let's talk about the dirty little secret, though, that nobody wants to admit, because it means we as entrepreneurs have to face our weaknesses. We get distracted, we get confused, fear and doubt creep in. And this secret is the number one biggest obstacle to growth for every single one of us. Are you ready? We're all addicts, all of us. We're addicted to putting out fires. When you put out a fire, it makes you a hero. And it gives you the glory. Like all addictions, there are some common elements that contribute to the dysfunction, such as ignoring the consequences of your actions, deferring important decisions, avoidance behavior. It's much more rewarding to run and put out a fire because you get that rush of adrenaline and that sweet, sweet recognition for being a hero. But while fires are always urgent, they're not always important. Knowing the difference can not only save your life one day, but it can also save your business right now. Because most entrepreneurs are stuck in a rut. And when they try to pull themselves out, they just end up jumping right back in. Sometimes on purpose. And then the cycle repeats. So instead of jumping into the same rut over and over, driving yourself crazy, just do what works. Remember, your success is tied to what you choose to do over and over. So do what works. Stop doing what doesn't. That's what we helped Big Marv Kaufman do. He was burning the candle at both ends, missing out, watching his kids grow up, flying all over the country, trying to scrap out a living. Now he works half the time and makes twice as much. Check it out.
What Josh has done for me is he's met with me several times, helped me dial in an offer that I'm charging double what I used to. He's helped me build and scale the team. He's there, he's committed. He wants nothing but the best for you so you can get all that time back and actually focus on scaling the business and operations.
Now, as far as figuring out what works, there's a lot of ways to do that. For me personally, I just go and get the best help I possibly can because I know it's going to get me there faster. I don't have time to mess around and tinker. I need results. And to get results, I need guidance. That's why it's one of my favorite things to do with my new clients. Help them get out of their rut so that they can get unstuck quick and get results right now. Once we get out of the rut and gain momentum, now it's time to focus. Now imagine you're a sea captain in the 1700s. You're out on the open water, there's no land in sight, and there's no sun to light the way. Fierce crosswinds keep rocking your ship back and forth. Huge waves are blasting against your ship's hull from all directions. It would be very easy to drift so far off course that you get lost at sea and never arrive at your destination. You have a secret weapon, the North Star. With the North Star in your sights, you always know where you're going. The winds and currents might blow you off course for a while, but you just point your ship back toward the North Star every time, and you're always going to get to your destination, no matter how long it may take. And your business needs a North Star too. Without it, you're at the mercy of every emergency, every distraction, and every little unpredictable thing that blows your business off course. But getting blown off course, that's not the problem. That's actually normal. As entrepreneurs, we deal with that every single day. Marketing campaign doesn't work out, a key employee suddenly quits on you, customer decides not to pay, even though you already did the work. It would be very easy to get swept off into another direction, trying to solve these problems, only to get stuck in a vortex that eventually just sucks you down. But if you know your North Star, you can always fight back. No matter what happens, just point your ship back to where you're going, and you'll be okay. That's what happened with Scott DiPeralta, who was struggling to pull his sales team together so that they could focus on growing revenues. So he doubled down on building a predictable system for generating sales and managing his team. He then launched a new product that sold out completely within 2 days. Just a few weeks before that, Scott couldn't even get his sales guys to show up on time, let alone close deals. Think of your North Star as the one big thing your company is trying to accomplish right now. It breaks every business decision down into a binary choice, zeros and ones, yeses and nos. Now, whenever you get blown off course with a problem, idea, distraction, opportunity, whatever, just ask yourself one question. Is this direction in line with my North Star? If it is, sail forth and conquer. If it's not, course correct. When I'm working with clients, getting clear on their North Star is the absolute first thing we do. This exercise alone eliminates 90% of the stress most entrepreneurs face on a daily basis because it makes every decision super easy. Okay, now it's time to show you how to make money with all this. I'm going to give you the tools that I've used over and over to help my clients achieve some of the results you've seen so far. These are the same simple, proven templates I consistently lean on to help 2x sales and business growth fast for my clients. I call them needle movers. When I took on my first client, I was terrified. I felt a ton of pressure to prove myself because it was the first time I was charging someone real money, and not as part of a consulting firm where at least I had a little bit of protection. So I really didn't want to look like a dope or get sued. His name was Brian Lewis, by the way, and he ran a high-end travel agency, still does, an industry I know basically nothing about. And so I took a step back and thought to myself, all right, what would make this guy really happy with his decision to work with me, no matter what else happens? The answer, an immediate win, a quick ROI, something that actually moves the needle. Now, it had to be fast, easy, and obvious. And so I dug into their business and quickly found a big, hairy problem that was costing them thousands of dollars a day in lost revenue. Now, the solution was not some crazy sales hack. It wasn't some AI automation. It wasn't some back alley motivational seminar voodoo or anything like that. Nope. The needle mover for my first client. Are you ready for this? A sales script. That's it. This company had more than a dozen people on their sales team hitting the phones all day long, and everybody was just winging it. Now, I knew immediately the only thing I really had to do was write and install a working sales script. Now, writing it was the easy part. That's Sales 101. I can show you exactly how to do that on the back of a napkin if you're ever curious. I literally did it for someone in 5 minutes while I was at a conference recently. Here's a picture of it for reference. Send me a DM if you want me to write you a sales script, no problem. My socials are right there on the screen. But getting them to use it, though, was a totally different and hilarious story I'll tell you another time, as long as you ask nicely, or at least buy me a drink or something. Bottom line, though, I won. They used my script. Brian's company doubled sales by the end of the month. They then leveraged that same script I created for them to become an 8-figure company just a few years later. Here's Brian talking about his forward momentum as a result of working with me.
We went from 4 million in 16 to 6.6 in 17, and we're at 12 this year. It's pretty fascinating to look at the trajectory after. Our average booking was about $6,000. It's at 15,000 right now. And a lot of that is because everybody says you either use us or you don't. So you look at that confidence that they started to learn when you were there, and just by telling them, like, start believing in the value that you're offering these clients.
You see, needle movers are powerful, but they don't have to be complex. Just do what works over and over and over again. That's exactly how Brian built his company to 8 figures. Are you starting to see a trend here? Now, over the years, I started picking up more clients, moving more needles. And the more work I did, the more I started to realize there were some trends and similarities. So I sat down and I did an analysis of the most successful campaigns across my more than 5,000 entrepreneur clients. And I realized all of the ones that were working, it boiled down to just 7 simple templates: process improvement, reposition, egg, conversion message, innovative offer, secondary sale, elixir. 7 precise ways to inject cash into your business fast, collectively called the PRECISE method. Now, I've used these exact same frameworks to 2x, 3x, even 5x businesses in less than 90 days. And I'm going to share them with you right now. But rather than bore you with long clinical explanations of everything, I thought one of the best ways to do this would be to show you real life examples from just one of my clients so that you can kind of keep everything together. Now, everything that I'm sharing with you is 100% real and true. I just changed the name and the likeness for privacy purposes. My client, we'll call him John. He runs a junk hauling service called ABC Sanitation in Columbus, Ohio. Now, keep in mind, I've worked with over 30 different industries, so these frameworks still apply no matter what you do or sell. I chose junk hauling specifically to show you that literally anyone can apply these templates to their business, even the dude that's hauling off your old raggedy couch. So if you're in real estate, professional services, you run an agency, coach or consultant, or any other service-based business, you should be able to see some easy parallels here if you just pay a little attention. So here are the details. ABC Sanitation is doing $750,000 in annual revenue, and the majority of their clients are apartment property managers. Now, John has a goal of $1 million in the next 6 months. He's on target for a 30 to 50% year-over-year growth. That's what he's trying to do. He's a little stuck. He hasn't been able to grow much over the last 2 years. And he's kind of worried about this coming winter because his business is very seasonal. But he is motivated, he's humble, he's coachable, and he's ready to take action. So let's dive into some precise ways that John's growing his business with our help. And remember, just take note of how these frameworks can also apply to your specific business. Now, we'll start with process improvement. A process improvement is where you increase the effectiveness or efficiency of something you're already doing, such as a task, a routine, an SOP, etc. Here's an example from ABC. Now, the company has 4 trucks, but only 3 drivers. Each truck produces about $250,000 per year in revenue for the company. John had a hard time finding reliable drivers because every time he put out a job ad, he would get low quality candidates. Even when he did manage to hire one of them, they'd always flake out pretty much within the first week. And that cost the company thousands in training expenses, lost time, lost revenue. So we changed his hiring process completely. We wrote a new job ad focused on attracting high quality people, not just whoever needed a job. We had the candidates answer questions that revealed their character, not just their ability to haul a trailer, which could be taught to the right person. And finally, we streamlined the onboarding process, which made it easier to cut ties if things weren't working out. The result? After months of failure, John was able to hire a new driver in 1 week, and he is still going strong to this day. John can now get all 4 trucks on the road, which brings his goal within striking distance right away. Now it's your turn. What is a process you could improve right now that can quickly move the needle for your business? Now let's take a look at reposition. A reposition moves your company upstream, making you a more premium option. You can also reposition by narrowing down to a specific niche or changing industries. Here's an example from ABC. Now, junk hauling is very competitive. There's no real barrier to entry, so anyone with a truck and some muscle can do it. Now, one day, John's manager was at a property they were trying to close, and he noticed a competitor roll up to do a job, an independent guy. We're going to call him Pete in the pickup. Now, Pete got out, he loaded his tiny trailer, maybe 1/3 full, and then he took off leading a huge pile behind. Now, Pete charges less per truckload so that he can underbid and he can get the jobs. What this means is they'd have to do another run, and Pete, he bills by the truckload. Plus, it's going to take him hours to get back from the landfill. So customers end up paying more, but they don't realize it. So we did a little digging for intel. It turns out Pete's pickup has less than 1/3 of ABC's regular capacity. So John did the math. He stacked up 576 cubic feet of junk next to 200 cubic feet of junk to show the difference between his load and Pete's load, and he snapped a pic. The goal was to show that while Pete in the pickup may seem cheaper at first, you end up paying more because he has to do multiple runs. Plus, you have to wait for hours just so he can finish the job. The result? Property management companies now see a concrete example of why ABC saves them not just money, but time as well. This reposition melts the primary objection they were facing with new customers, which was, oh, we already have somebody who does that. and it leads to easy breezy new sales contracts, especially when they're up against any given Pete. Your turn. What are some ways you can reposition your business quickly to create new opportunities right now? Now, the one you've probably been scratching your head about, EGG. EGG stands for Everything's Gotta Go. This is a promotion, a sale, or a special offer with any existing service or product that you currently sell. Here's an example from ABC. Now, business slows down dramatically in the fall, and it's hard to find new jobs. Everybody's gearing up for the holidays. Cold weather discourages replacing furniture and bulkier items like appliances, and ABC was facing one of its slowest months in the last several years. If they didn't bring in some cash fast, John knew he was going to be in trouble with his accountant. So his manager started visiting some regular customers to drum up business. He gave them a card to hand to anybody that needed junk removal, and whenever the customer mentioned who they were referred by, John would come by to pay them cash in hand on the spot. Now, everybody was excited to hear about this easy way to make money, and they were very happy to make referrals. But while he was there, he also asked them what kind of work they were needing done this month. He wrote down what each said and shared it with John. And here's where the ninja move came in. John then used that info to send out a promotional email directly to each customer, offering a special on the exact thing they just said they needed. The result? Not only did ABC gain a ton of free exposure by offering cash for any new referrals, which will come in clutch in the slow months, but one customer responded to the email immediately needing thousands of dollars of work done. ABC Sanitation was able to stay healthy that month by moving the needle with an egg. Your turn. If you had to pull out all the stops to bring cash in the door right now, what kind of offer could you make for your existing products and services? Now, hopefully by now, you're starting to see how you can apply some of these templates to your business. I have a few more to show you, but just in case you need a quick mental break, here's a video of me dancing in my banana suit last Halloween. Okay, let's get back to it. Next is conversion message. A conversion message is the words you use to get more customers to say yes to you. Here's an example from ABC. Now, John was struggling to demonstrate the value of his tidy grounds service to property managers who were trying to maintain profit margins. Now, to most of them, picking up around the property seemed like a total unnecessary expense. And any expense is a reduction of profit, and any reduction in profit affects their bonuses. So we did a little bit of research. John found a property that was the exact same size, year, and street as one of his customers' properties. We ran some comps and we found out that the average rents for the property he services was actually $50 per month higher than the one he didn't service. Now, since apartment complexes are valued based on rents collected, it ended up being a massive $280,000 difference in the valuation of the property. The only thing that separated them, one had tidy grounds, the other did not. So we put together a flyer explaining the difference in plain industry language that showed them how not having tidy grounds was actually affecting their wallet. Remember, they get bonused on profit. The result? Property managers see a concrete benefit for John's service. Customers now see him as an asset instead of an expense, and he is closing more deals as a result. Now it's your turn. What messaging adjustments can you make so potential customers and clients can see the bigger picture of why they should work with you? After that, we have innovative offer. An innovative offer is a new product or service that fulfills your customer's unmet needs and desires. Here's an example from ABC. Now remember, the winter months are slow. John was looking for ways to bridge the gap, and he noticed his customers had a big problem of their own, finding reliable maintenance personnel. Now, ABC doesn't offer general maintenance, but John is very well connected with maintenance people in the area. They all know and love him because his company literally does the heavy lifting for them. But they don't love their jobs, so they quit or they bounce around from place to place. And all of that turnover creates a big, expensive mess for property managers. They're constantly looking for good help and they're willing to pay a premium for it. So we built an entire new business around outsourced general maintenance. For a flat fee, any property could get reliable, professional maintenance on demand. It's also cheaper and easier than hiring a full-time employee. To test the concept, John floated the idea by several of his regular customers to see how they react. The result? He got a 100% positive response. And not just that, an enthusiastic one. Every single one of them was ecstatic that ABC was going to solve this very painful problem for them. This innovative offer opens up an entire new revenue stream for John's company because he paid attention to his customers' pain points and offered a new solution they desperately needed. Your turn. What unmet needs are your customers or clients facing right now that you could solve with a little creativity? Now let's discuss secondary sale. A secondary sale is an upsell, which is an additional product or service, or a cross-sell, which is a joint venture with another company that increases the ticket value of a transaction. Now, here's an example from ABC. You only need to call a junk hauler when you have junk to haul. The rest of the time, they're pretty much out of sight, out of mind. But John has mouths to feed and he has trucks to move, so he has to find other ways to make money. So he's always looking for opportunities. Here's what happened. John's manager was on a site visit, just asking what kind of help they were needing. Remember, this is a strategy they implemented earlier. And the customer asked if they offered trash valet, which is basically picking up trash from the tenant's doorstep and disposing of it. Now, ABC did not offer this service, but the manager acted quickly and thought on his feet. He says, well, yeah, sure we do. Let me get back to the office and I'll put together a quote for you. Now, what the manager didn't know until later was that trash valet was actually a very high margin secondary sale. Not only does it reduce waste management expenses by not needing to rely on dumpsters, which, remember, increases the property manager's bonuses, but it also leads to higher tenant satisfaction, which makes them willing to pay more in rent, again, leading to more money in the customer's pocket. And plus, since ABC was already there and already trained on trash removal, meaning there was no additional effort or expense to add this service, it was a no-brainer. The result? ABC promptly closed this new service offering to this new customer and added an additional $9,000 per month to their top line revenue. They also asked the next property on their visit list, hey, do you happen to need trash valet? And they said yes too. That's another $9,000 a month in basically free money. Not to mention, they have another revenue stream to hold them over for when junk hauling is slow. And best of all, it required no additional effort, no additional investment, just quick thinking and a willingness to do what was asked of them. Your turn. What other products or services can you offer your customers that are related to what you do? And finally, Elixir. Elixir is your special sauce, something that is unique to you and puts you into a category of one. Here's an example from ABC. Now, there's nothing unique about junk hauling. Aside from price and time, which is ultimately a race to the bottom, there's no obvious way to differentiate yourself from the competition. And competition is fierce, as we've seen from Pete in the pickup. John knows this, but he has a secret weapon: recycling and giving back. Now, John built ABC with sustainability in mind. To date, more than half of the junk he hauls gets repurposed, reused, or resold in some way. He even has a resale store for some of the more valuable items he found. Another secondary sale, by the way. And he also gives back to his community. The result? Because of this, environmentally conscious customers are fiercely loyal to ABC Sanitation. To them, there is no other option. The resale center, though, that's the real Elixir. This store is undeniable physical proof that ABC is making a positive impact on their community. He even sells some items for as little as 1 cent and makes donations to underprivileged kids. Many customers stick with ABC because they align with John's community-first mission and vision. And hey, that's saying something for the guy who will haul off your old raggedy couch for you. Your turn. What kind of elixir can you cook up that is unique only to you? Something that puts you in a category of one. All right, so those are my 7 precise ways to inject cash in your business in the next 7 days. So if a random guy with a truck and a dream can build a profitable business using my frameworks, imagine what you could do. Or if you don't have much imagination, check out what Carl Richardson did in only 1 week of working with me.
Last year we crossed the 1 million mark, and we were in a slump, and we just weren't closing stuff. I reached out to Josh, and he poured into me. And after that conversation with Josh, the next week we closed about $200,000 of work. Yeah. That's just one conversation. Yeah.
Now there are 2 ways you can go from here. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting out fires, reinvent the wheel, buy more shiny objects, sign up for another conference, put in more 16-hour days, burn more time and money, keep spinning your wheels. Promise yourself you're going to implement all this cool stuff you just learned first thing Monday morning, only to get pulled away by the next fire that shows up. And then the cycle starts all over again. Or the easy way. And this is where I can help. We'll get clear on your goals so you can quit being a firefighter and start being a fire marshal. I'll show you how to use the tools you already have to create profit right now. I'll help you get more done in less time so you can live your life for you, not for your business. We're going to build out the systems that let you delegate everything so you only work on the part of the business that you actually enjoy. And most importantly, you can stop wasting money and time and just do what works. So let's talk about that. Book a call with me now, and let's see how my team and I can help move the needle for your business. And by the way, you'll be talking directly with me, not some pushy sales guy or anything like that. Let's have an honest conversation about where you're at right now, where you want to go, and what's really stopping you from getting there. Now, I know you have a lot of options for help. Some work better than others. Some are free. Some are super expensive. Some are going to solve your problem right away. And a lot of others are just going to spin your wheels and frustrate you. And honestly, sometimes it's just really hard to tell the difference. And so what I did is I put together this chart for you to kind of give you an idea of how it all fits in a spectrum. And I also marked some sweet spots on here that are going to give you the best ROI for if you have more time than money, and other sweet spots for if you just want to get results quickly, but without overpaying. So it's worth a quick chat to see how we can potentially help you get to where you want to go and figure out what's the best bang for your buck in terms of time and resources. And in case you're wondering what it's actually like to work with me, here's what Pia Silva has to say. Now, if you remember, we watched a short clip of her at the very beginning of this presentation.
Hi, I'm Pia from No BS Agencies. I hired Josh about a year and a half into our business. We were growing really fast, but we had kind of hit a plateau. I felt like we were treading water, and a lot of that was because I was just completely overwhelmed running the business. There were so many pieces to juggle, and it was all still falling on me. One of the first things Josh did was a complete assessment of every part of my business, and he helped me identify who I needed to hire, and then actually helped me write the job descriptions and figure out how to find those good fit people and hire them within a month. 3 months into working with Josh, our monthly revenue grew 3x. So we went from 50K to 150K in just 3 months. He helped me with sales, marketing, strategy, and he helped implement the processes and structures I still have today. One of the things he did was help me learn how to manage my team better and have oversight over what they were doing and make sure that they were much more effective. All of this created a foundation that has continued to help me thrive now that we are almost 3 years into the business. I cannot recommend Josh enough. He is such a smart, insightful partner to have on your team.
Go ahead, book a call now, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon. Oh, I do want to let you know, since I do all the calls myself, I have very limited availability. If you see a slot on my calendar, grab it. Just make sure you show up, be ready to get to work. That's all I ask. And just one final reminder, if what you've been doing over and over hasn't been working, it's time to start doing what works. See you on the call.
A lot of us as entrepreneurs, especially when we're smaller, when we're selling ourselves, we're not the best people to come up with offers, and we're not the best people to sell them. And so Josh is just really good at both. That's what he did for us, and there's no question in my mind he'd do a good job for others as well.
Josh Thomas, what can I say about the guy? Reliable, a friend, always willing to show up, always willing to go above and beyond. One of my first experiences with Josh, I immediately knew that this guy was committed to relationships. He was committed to other people. Josh Thomas is the man.
And he has helped me in such a large way get out of my own way, see what I need to do next in practical, tactical steps.
He saw the value in what we had more than I did, and I'm the one that's putting in the work. And literally every single conversation I've ever had with Josh has been a game changer.
Josh has a very interesting way to communicate with you and give you guidance without actually telling you what to do, which I really appreciate that approach. His questions help you navigate to the solution.
He has the ability to look at a situation and, see what you're doing wrong, see what you're doing right, offer advice, and so many suggestions that are worth their weight in gold.
I'm an introvert. He's an introvert. And he taught me his secret, basically, to being an introvert at a networking event, and I implemented that, and I ended up becoming the #1 most talked to person at that networking event, where I used to be the shy kid in the corner.
The moment we got connected, it was all about, hey, how can I help you? What introductions can I make? Josh leads by example, and also in terms of his heart and what he gives back to others is one of a kind.
Josh has had a huge impact on me and my business, breaking down large tasks into smaller, more manageable, effective uses of your time. I'd have to say the impact that I've received has improved my life tenfold.
He's helped me get more dialed in with my time and just be better overall with my time management, as well as going out of his way to help me source a VA that I needed who was bilingual.
If you're looking for somebody who can really help you implement these types of tools into your business, I would highly recommend Josh.
There's this book called Radical Candor. It really talks about being straight up with people around you. And most people are too nice and they don't want to be straight up because they might hurt each other's feelings. Josh doesn't have that problem. Josh is straight up. And when he says something, sometimes it stings a little bit because it's true.
It's funny because you just wish that people would. It's such an untrusting world for good reason, but you wish that people would just believe you or believe me, being like, Josh is the real deal.